Hello, my name is Matt Overton, and I'm an auxiliary deputy with York-Poquoson Sheriff's Department. Today I'll be talking to you about civilian response as it pertains to active attack events, stress response in these events, as well as avoid, deny, and defend. So on behalf of Sheriff Diggs, thank you for all the continuous support and for taking time to attend this training today. Before we begin this presentation, I just wanted to make you aware that some of the material has graphic content. So let's begin. Let's start off with talking about situational awareness. What is situational awareness? I have a video for us to see where we are with our situational awareness. So as I play this video, the gentleman that's holding up the cards, he's going to be giving you a set of instructions. And at the end of the video, we'll kind of talk about what did we see. So here we go. Let me start the video.
Here's your challenge. How many people in orange shirts get subs? Go. Seven people in orange shirts got subs. But what else did you see? Did you notice the ice cream truck change to a pizza truck? Did you notice the glasses? What about the man leaving the suspicious package next to the truck? Your next challenge, be aware of your surroundings.
So, did you see those items? Some of you probably did see some of those things. Others, not so much, and that's okay. So let's talk about the video we just saw. Some of us were able to see the guy place the bag by the food truck, ice cream truck becoming the pizza truck. Some of us did not see that, and that's okay. And that's because of selective attention. In the beginning of the video, you were tasked with focusing on the people in the orange shirt getting subs. So your brain was just focused on that task and it blocked out everything else. By blocking out everything else, you didn't see those items. Selective attention is a great tool, and I'll tell you how we can use that to enhance our situational awareness. I'll come back to that. I want to just briefly talk about how does our brain process information. So I'm going to refer to our brain as a command center. And the person in charge in this command center, I'm going to give him the name Bob. Okay, so let me just circle Bob here. So up here is Bob. So as Bob's sitting up here, he's kind of running our command center. And as we're receiving information through our senses, what we see, hear, taste, smell, touch, all that, Bob is placing it in files in our brain. So whenever we need to access information, Bob is able to reach down there. If I have something I saw, Bob will be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. He'll pull out that file and give me that information to tell me what I'm looking at, or what am I smelling, or what am I hearing, so on. So to enhance our situational awareness and to be able to pick up on key things such as the guy placing the bag by the food truck, I got to tell Bob what is important and what is not important. Because if I don't tell Bob what is and what is not, Bob's going to leave an all record going on, and Bob's going to be just inundated with all this information, and he's going to do what he's doing, and he's just going to follow everything in. But if I tell Bob, hey, this is what's important, Bob, and this is what's not important, now my brain can use that selective attention in a positive way to pick up on key things in my environment to give me better awareness. What can help streamline that is getting into profile and signature. What is profile? Profile is what a person looks like or what an item looks like. What do they look like is what profile is. Signature is What are they doing? Do they fit in the environment? That is what signature is. So let's look at Boston bombing. All right, so right over here is our bombers. All right, right here is our bombers. And as we look at their profile, their clothing, they are dressed just like any other spectator attending this marathon. Their profile does not stand out. They're dressed just like everybody else. Nothing really odd or different about their profile. So now let's talk about their signature. What are they doing? Okay. So let me draw their book bag for you. Here is their book bag. So they both had backpacks, and inside their backpacks was a pressure cooker, a bomb. And what they were doing is, as they were walking along the fence line where the spectators are up against watching the runners, they were placing their bag up against the fence line, and then they would just walk away and just watch everybody's reaction. Then they would walk over, pick up their book bag, walk a little bit down, take the book bag, place it down on the ground, and walk away. They did this multiple times, just watching people's reaction. Now, looking at this photo and looking at these spectators, where are they looking at? They're looking out onto the road, looking out for the runners, cheering the runners along. But look at our bombers. What are they looking at? They're not looking at the runners. They're looking at the spectators and seeing what the spectators are doing by their actions. That is not normal behavior of somebody attending a marathon. So let's go to our video, okay? I have an course. I'm going to introduce to you your victim. She's going to get her wallet taken, and then I'm going to introduce to you the suspects that take her wallet. And I want you to watch what their profile is and what their signature is. And as we're watching this video, I'm going to point out a couple key things to you as we watch this video. So here we go. Right here is your victim. Right here are your two suspects right into here. Notice the one wearing the jacket. He just walks right over to the book, not really shopping.
Thank you very much.
All right, you gave him the thumbs up. They're paying attention to where their victim is going and where she's at in the store. So their profile, let's start with that. Their profile fits everybody else inside this gift shop. They're dressed just like anyone else. Nothing really standing out about how they're dressed. But their signature, let's look at their signature. Everybody else inside this gift shop is shopping. Are they really shopping? Or are they paying more attention and looking around and not shopping like everybody else? Now the one over here with the backpack on his back, he's kind of a little bit more discreet, trying to hide his signature, but the one wearing the jacket, not so much. So now as you see them, they're going to be moving in position. They're going to take the lady's wallet. So these are the things I'm talking to you about profile and signature. So when you're inside whatever type of environment it may be, to enhance your situational awareness, just take a quick second to get a snapshot of where you are and just look at the profile around you. Does anything look out of place? Then the next thing is, well, I really don't see anything. Look at the signatures of what's around you. And then ask yourself the same thing. Does anything look out of place? So let's look at now the background science on how people behave in these high stress events. Amanda Ripley wrote a book based off of her research called The Unthinkable: Who Survives When Disaster Strikes and Why. And in her research, she found that there was 3 stages in this process in a disaster response that people cycle through. And how fast you can cycle through to get to that decisive moment is key in survivability. And that first stage that she found was denial. The second stage was deliberation. And then the third was that decisive moment. So let's talk about denial first. Denial is our brain tends to interpret information as if it's a part of our everyday experiences. It takes time for our brain to process information and recognize that there's a threatening situation. So let me give you an example. You're in the food court. You're eating your lunch, and then somewhere in the mall, gunfire is heard. Your brain is going to sit there and it's going to draw on that everyday experience. And what that everyday experience for most of us is, it's probably going to take that gunfire sound and sit there and say, that's fireworks. Now, some of us who go to the range all the time and shoot guns all the time, yeah, you might be able to go ahead and say, yep, that's gunfire. But most of all of us, our everyday experience is going to be more likely associating that sound to fireworks. So our brain is trying to normalize the situation and just sit there and say, that's not gunfire. It's going to deny it and just say, that's fireworks. That's just fireworks. So what is social proofing? Social proofing is looking towards others for cues on how to behave in situations. If the crowd is calm, you're calm. If the crowd is panicking, you're panicking. So this video is kind of going to get into a little science to explain a little bit more of what social proofing is and the impacts that it has on the decisions we make in these critical moments.
These people you followed. So why would you value a complete stranger's opinion?
It's because your brain is hardwired to do so. There's safety in numbers, and whether it's thousands of years ago or today, your brain would rather go where other people are going rather than take the chance of going it alone. Your brain's decision-making center, the prefrontal cortex, has a direct line to the nucleus accumbens, an area responsible for positive rewards and social learning. Simply seeing someone else's choice activates that reward system and reinforces the decision to follow their lead.
So we can see if one person is calm and prepared, they can set the tone and save lives. So now let's get back into deliberation. So once we figure out what the cause is and the brain figures out what this cause is of denial, now we're going to move into deliberating of what's happening in this situation. Meaning this, let's go back to our situation that we talked about. You're in the food court at the mall, a gunfire. So as you're sitting there in the food court, and now you're going to get in this deliberation with Bob. You're going to sit there and go, Bob, wait a minute. I don't think that's fireworks, Bob. I don't really do. I think you got the wrong file. Like, who would be shooting fireworks, Bob, in the mall? That's not safe. I think you got the wrong file. Are you sure that's fireworks? And so now you're in this big debate with Bob about, is that fireworks? Is that not fireworks? What should I do? Is that gunfire? If that's gunfire, what do I need to do? And so you're in this deliberation between your brain and yourself of what do I need to do? And what is that? What am I hearing? So I'm going to pause right here for just a second, and I'm going to talk about the 2 processors in our brain. The human brain is also referred to as the rational brain. It's a slow processor. It likes to take time to process the information, to think about what's going on, and to make good, sound choices. It doesn't like stress, and stress will shut down the human brain. And we'll come back to that in just a second. The other side of our brain, or the other name for this is, other than lizard brain, is our emotional brain. It's a fast processor. It thrives on emotion, and it operates at fast pace, meaning that when we get into these high stress moments and our heart rate's elevated, so much stress is being put on our body, the human brain shuts down. Now lizard brain's driving, that emotional brain, and it is thriving off emotion. It's processing information at a high speed, and it has to rely on acronyms because it's processing so fast it doesn't have time to go ahead and slow down and think about what is actually happening. It truly has to rely on acronyms. That's why acronyms in these high stress moments is helpful for us in kind of making good choices. So I'll give you an acronym that you're going to become familiar with by the end of this presentation called Avoid, Deny, and Defend. Emotion in this lizard brain is just a big driving piece. I'm gonna talk about that too later on in the presentation, about how it's so important for us to control our emotions and also to control our heart rate, because what we want to do is we want to keep that human brain engaged into this process as long as we can to make the best choices in these critical moments. Going with that, when the human brain gets so much stress, it will shut down. And when it shuts down, now lizard brain is kicked in. And when that lizard brain kicks in, there is a pre-programmed thing that's inside our brain. And what's going to happen is going to be one of these three things. Now, I don't know what one of these three things will be for you, but one of these three things will happen to you in these high stress moments. And that one is either you're going to fight, flight, meaning you're going to run, or you're going to freeze up. I don't know which one is going to happen to you, but I will tell you this: one of these things will happen to you. When there is a lot of stress that is put on the human brain, it shuts down, and now lizard brain is driving. You're going to win one of these three things. Which one? I don't know. Going off of that, as I was telling you about your heart rate, and as stress is put onto the body, what happens? Well, as you can see onto this, as our heart rate's climbing up the scales here, I want to focus in on a couple ones here. As you see that 120 beats per minute, that is our startle reflex in that red. So when you hear a loud bang and you jump, you're like, holy cow, what was that? That's your startle reflex inside. That is that natural mechanism inside of you that is telling you, hey, something scary just happened. I don't know what it is, but we need to pay attention. And as your heart rate's starting to really amp up and getting up more and more, you get into that gray zone. As you get into that gray zone, now what's happening is you're starting to lose those fine motor skills. Complex motor skills are going away. Gross motor skills are starting to deteriorate. And just trying to dial 911 could be a difficult task in itself. And as we get up into the condition black, then that's when we can lose bladder control. And then that's when all our complex and gross and fine motor skills start to really deteriorate. And now it becomes even more difficult in trying to make good choices and getting out of this high stress moment. And ultimately, you're just going to shut down and freeze right there in place. And we don't want that. So it's so important for you to get control of your emotions, get control of your heart rate, and keep this human brain engaged as much as you can to make good choices to survive in these critical incidents. So I'm going to show you a video of what I'm talking about. This lady that's coming out, she has a stroller. Moms and dads with little kids, you probably have taken your child thousands and thousands of times out of a stroller. You could probably do it with your eyes closed. In this video is an attack in Paris, and an individual has come into the store with an AK and he's shooting everybody inside the store. And in this video, I want you to focus in and just watch this mom and see how difficult it is just on a simple task of trying to remove her child from the stroller under a high stress. So I'll play the video for you now. Right here, watch this. And this is what I'm talking about. As our heart rate is elevated, just the everyday task that you've done, just removing your child from a stroller day in, day out, you could do it with your eyes closed. A simple, easy thing. But when our body's placed under a lot of stress, our heart rate's elevated, even the most simplest things become the most difficult things. So when we get into these high stress moments, the first thing we want to do is calm down. Calm down. We want to breathe. Breathing in, slowly hold it, and then back out. Breathe in, hold it, and then breathe out slowly. Shift our emotions. So important, shift your emotions. Like I told you, that lizard brain, that emotional brain, it is driven by emotions. We want to shift it. We don't want to fuel it. We want to keep our human brain engaged as much as we can in these high critical moments. Staying fit. What do I mean by staying fit? Yeah, going to the gym, exercising is really great for your body. Stress is bad. Stress is really bad. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of the stress. We don't want to be carrying stress over and over and over. Let me give you an example like this. Let's look at a scale. Scale being 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. A lot of us work some stressful jobs. If we're going to work and we leave work at an 8 on that scale, and we don't do something when we go home, go for a walk, go throw the softball with your kid or something to reduce stress. And when you come back into work, and if you haven't done that and you come back into work and you're still at an 8 and that bad day happens, there isn't much wiggle room on that stress scale before human brain really shuts down. But if we come back into work, we left at an 8 and we come back to work and we're down there like a 3, that's where we want to be. That's what I mean by staying fit. Have something when you get off work to get rid of that stress. We do not want to carry stress over with us. Another thing that will help us when we're deliberating with Bob and trying to decide, is that this or that, or something bad is really happening, what should I do? You should already have a prescript in your mind. You should already be prepped in your mind that if when I come into a restaurant, before I open up the menu to get something to eat, you should already be telling yourself that if somebody comes in or something happens in this restaurant, I know I won't be able to get out the front door, but the emergency exit's over here and here. Or if somebody is having a heart attack or something like that, hey, there's a defibrillator right there. I know where the AED is. Those kind of things. Script it out in your mind and then mentally practice that. Real quick, takes just a few seconds in your mind. Hey, something happens, this is what I'm going to do. Boom, 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 boom. Remember I told you about that file? Now you just put a file into your brain. So then that way when that bad thing happens, Bob goes, oh, I got a file for it. That's what you need to do. So important for it to script and practice and create these files to put in your brain. So that way Bob can help you. So if you get into this situation and you go, oh boy, something bad's happening, Bob goes, hold on, we got a file. Here you go. This is what we need to do. This increases survivability. So important to do. So important to do. So here we go. We're going to dive into civilian response. We don't want to sit there in that food court when we hear that sound and be in denial. We know that that's gunfire. That noise is gunfire. You've already scripted and you already practiced, just like what we talked about in the previous slide, that before you sat down in that food court to eat your lunch, you already had in your mind that if something happens, that is my exit. That's how I'm going to get out of here. That's where I'm going to go. If that's blocked, then my next exit is here. You already sat and practiced, scripted out in your mind. You're eating your lunch. You hear that sound. We automatically have a plan. That's in that deliberation, and we're moving to where that exit is. We're automatically going to that decisive moment, and we're avoiding this situation, and we're getting out. Some people ask, should we just play dead? Should I just lay there on the ground and just pretend like I've been shot and he probably won't shoot me? I wouldn't recommend that, but I'm going to play you a video, and I'm going to let Christina Anderson answer that question for you. She was the most critically wounded student at Virginia Tech. So I'm going to play her video and let her answer that question for you.
So this is pretty important. This day, I ended up sitting in exactly the same seat I always did, in the back right-hand corner on the right side of the class. What we don't know is at this time, someone is downstairs and he's chaining all 3 doors shut. There's supposed to be desks there. Oh, you guys can see. We heard the first gunshots outside in the hallway, and my teacher, she opened the door. She immediately slammed it, and she said, call 911. And the second that door closed, he walks in. He walks in shooting. There's absolutely no time. He goes to the other side of the classroom by the windows. He's holding 2 guns. He doesn't say anything. He just starts going down the rows of people. It's very quick. It's very loud. It's very scary. We had these very shitty desks. I get on the floor. I put my knees under the chair, my stomach on the seat, hands overhead, eyes are closed. As the shots keep going, and it's, like I said, very loud, I can tell it's getting closer and closer. And I'm telling myself, brace yourself, your turn is going to come. Now, I didn't know what that meant. Like, I didn't think I was going to get shot, but I knew that something really serious was going on. And I knew for whatever reason that I should just play dead. He shoots me. The first time's in the back. And you'd be surprised, getting shot doesn't hurt that much because shock overtakes you, but it starts to like burn and really kind of seep in, and that's when it gets really uncomfortable. It's not pleasant. He leaves the first time, he goes across the hall, and while he's gone, cell phones are ringing, people are coughing, and the smell of gunpowder has like completely filled the room. Gunpowder is like this really sticky, pungent, warm smell, and it just makes you very, very thirsty. He comes back. Now, this time, the shooting is more intermittent. It's slower because he's looking to see who's alive. I remember telling myself to stop breathing because I can feel my stomach hitting that chair, and I'm saying, stop, like, he can see that you're alive. The third and final time, he killed himself in front of our...
So playing dead isn't the option. We don't want you to be sitting here hiding and hoping. If the gunman comes in, what options do you have at this point to survive? Where do you go? How do you get out of this situation? How can you defend yourself when you're hiding and hoping underneath a desk like this? You've just limited your options if the person came in here with a gun. We don't want you doing this. What we want you to do is avoid, deny, and defend. So let's get into avoiding. That situational awareness that we talked about in the beginning. That is key. Key. If we can recognize the problem before it even happens, we can get out of that situation, greatly increase our survivability, and we avoid this whole thing right off the get-go. When you see something, immediately recognizing it and seeing, hey, that's not good. Need to get out of here. We'll play a video for you. A gunman with a machine gun walks in on the Paris attack. Watch what happens with the customers when the guy walks in with a gun. He immediately has good situational awareness. Watch his reaction. Notice the individuals that were passengers in the car immediately exit out and took off running. People running out of the store. They automatically know this is bad. Good situational awareness. Anybody walking in the store with a machine gun, this is bad. Well, we don't need to stick around and figure out, hey, why is he in here with the machine gun for? What's going to happen? We already know what's going to happen. This is really bad. Get out. Know where your exits are, and then once you're out and you are safe, then call 911. Don't be sitting in the store when the guy walks in with a machine gun and you're going, oh Lord, somebody in here with a gun. 911, yeah, there's a guy in here with a gun. No. Your safety is key thing here. Your safety. Get out of the store. Once you're out of the store and you are safe, then dial 911 and get on there going, hey, there's a guy with a gun. He went in store such and such. He is da-da-da-da-da. Get out. Once you're out and safe, then call 911. If you can't get out and you go into the back areas of the store, look around for secondary ways to get out. These people are doing that hiding and hoping. That's not what we want you to do. That's not what we want you to do. There is an exit door literally right behind them. Keep the human brain engaged, not that emotional brain, not that lizard brain. We need the human brain engaged so you could see there's another door that leads out literally right behind me. But when you're under high stress, just like I showed you in that other video of the lady trying to remove her child from the stroller, we're not going to be able to pick up on these things. Because if we can't control our heart rate and stress will shut down the human brain, we won't pick up on key things that can help us survive and get out of these situations. If we can't get out, then we want to deny that person coming into the space we are in. Locking the door, turning out the lights, getting out of sight, silencing our phones. We want to make it very difficult and hard for a person to get into the room that we are in. And then once we do that, we still need to be looking, can I still get out of here? Can I go out a window, or can I go out, another door to get into another room, to get out to a ladder well, to get out to the parking lot, and so on. That's what we need to do when we deny. Barricade, heavier is better. Door stops will work, but what we want to do is, if I want to barricade up a door, put stuff in there that's going to slow down their response or make it even difficult for them to get into where you are. Again, looking in here, there's key things into here that we can use to barricade against the doors to get out. So if those secondary areas, for whatever reason, we can't get out, then use these things that are in our environment to get across that door that's right underneath where it says camera 13. We want to take these items that are inside this space and shove it over in front of that door and make it as difficult as we can for that person to get into that room to where we are. Door stops. You can use the straps off your bags to go around the doorknobs to kind of help secure and hold that door in place if you can't lock it. Okay, as you can see right here, the outward opening doors, meaning the door opens outward out to there, we can use the straps off our bags to kind of loop around like this guy's demonstrating and holding on off to the side of the threshold, so that way if he shoots from the door, he's not shooting you. There's a ton of different commercial devices that are out there that you can use to help deny if somebody tries to come in to the space where you are. And then the last resort, if we can't avoid it, we've done everything we can to deny that access, and now that gunman is now in my space. The last resort, you have the legal authority to defend yourself. If that gunman comes inside that space, you have the legal authority to defend yourself. Now, if there's a bunch of you in a room, where we go one, we go all. So if we commit that if that guy comes in here with that gun, we are all attacking that person all together as one. So how do we want to position ourselves? We want to position ourselves to the sides of the threshold. So as he's coming in, we're going to throw something into his face that's going to cause a flinching reaction. So as he raises his hands trying to grab whatever item, then that's when we want to commit to grabbing that gun. If he has a rifle, we want to grab the rifle and we want to point it downward, and we want to shove it as tight as we can into his body, pinning him against the wall to where now he has no control of the weapon and we have control of him. If it's a handgun, the same thing. We want to point those weapons in a safe direction, so if the weapon goes off, it doesn't shoot anyone. The round goes down into the ground, and we want to go ahead and pin that weapon to him as we're trying to take that weapon away from him. Fight with all your might. Fight for whatever that special person is that you go home to each and every night. Fight for that person. Where we go one, we go all. Commit to it. Shift emotions. I'm going to survive this. I'm going to win this. Win the fight. Win the fight. Take them down. I'm going to play a video from you again from the Paris attacks. Notice this Frenchman as he realizes I have no other options. I can't avoid this. I can't deny. I'm at the last resort. There's a guy in here with a machine gun. I'm down to the last thing. It's time to fight. Now, you'll see his reaction, and then I want you to pay attention to, let me get my pointer here. Pay attention to this area in here and watch these people's reaction as this guy's coming in with the gun. Watch their reaction as well. Here we go. Picks up the bottle. He realizes it's go time. Look at these people. Laying down, playing dead. That's not what we want you to do. We want you to avoid. Get out. If there's a back way in that back of that store to get out, get out. Don't lay on the ground. Get out. And you just saw the Frenchman here in the front grabbing that wine bottle. He knew that this was, I can't avoid it. I can't deny it. Last resort. I have the legal authority to defend myself. He grabs and goes for a go time. He goes right after the guy. Mindset. Mindset is key thing here. I'm going to pause right here just a minute, and I want you to reflect on Lieutenant Brian Murphy, on what his mindset is, and I'll tell you a little bit more in just a second about Lieutenant Murphy. Lieutenant Murphy was shot 16 times in response to an active threat. Police officer. He was the first on the scene. He was the first to engage the gunman. And in this battle, the gunman got the upper hand and shot Lieutenant Murphy 16 times. Lieutenant Murphy had the mindset, I'm going to win this. I'm going to survive this. And that's what he said to himself as he was laying there, shot 16 times, and he survived. That is the same mindset you have to have. Know your surroundings. Avoid, deny, and defend. Situational awareness, situational awareness. Good essay. Always know your surroundings. So what do you do? Matters. The attack starts. First thing you need to do is, where are my primary exits? From there, do I have them? Yes. Avoid the situation. If I don't, deny. And then look for other exits. Do I have them? Get out. If not, defend. So what happens when police arrive? Understand, these are high stress moments. You need to follow commands. You need to show them your hands. And do not move. Do not move. Follow commands. Very high stress moments. They don't know who you are. They get very limited information when we're responding. Follow their commands. Listen to what they say. Keep your hands visible and do not move when the police are challenging you. Have your hands where they can see them and listen to what they are telling you. If they tell you to get on the ground, get on the ground. If they tell you to put your hands on top of your head, place your hands on top of your head. Please listen to what is being asked of you. Understand, when we arrive on scene, our priority is to stop the killing. That is our number one priority, is stopping the killing. And then after that, we're immediately going into stopping the dying and then evacuating the injury. When we arrive on scene, if the killing is stopped, we're going to stop the dying by applying that medical aid and getting treatment to the people who are injured. We're going to get them out. We'll play a video from San Bernardino when they were coming in and evacuating people out.
Are you ready? If you're not cool, I'm not walking them, dude. Sir? Go. Walk to that deputy right there. Keep your hands where I can see him. All the way to that deputy. You're going to make a left where the deputy's at. Thank you. Try to relax, everyone. Try to relax. I'll take a bullet before you do. That's for damn sure. Just be cool, okay?
Notice how calm they were. They were listening to the commands from the officer and doing what was being said. They were escorting them out. So please, when we arrive on scene, listen to what we're saying. Understand we are getting very limited information and we're trying to evacuate people. We're going to do so in a safe and efficient manner. So please listen to what we're asking. If we ask for your hands to be on top of your head, please do so. Okay? On medical, the medics are going to be delayed getting inside. We have to get the scene safe enough for them to get in. We understand people need help, but the first hands to these wounded people are you. Yes, medical is on the way in. Law enforcement is trying to get the scene secured, to get fire and EMS in, but the first hands to these people being injured is you. There are several medical courses that you can take as far as Stop the Bleed, First Care Provider, You Are the Help Until Help Arrives. If any of these things interest you, please, at the end of this presentation, there is an email. Just send us an email and we can provide additional information to any of these courses for you. Also, PulsePoint is an app that you can currently download free to your phone. This is a very helpful app that if you're out and you needed to know where is the nearest AED to your location, this is what PulsePoint does. It will tell you where the nearest AED is. It's an awesome app to have on your phone. Mental trauma is expected in these type of incidents. So it's so important to have a critical incident stress management plan, because people are going to be suffering survivor guilt, post-traumatic stress disorder. It is crucial that we have something in place to help these people, someone for them to talk to help process as they heal through these types of events. Thank you for taking time today to attend this training. If you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to send an email to the address below. Thank you.